Before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and give you this red pill straight off of the gate. And I'm going to go ahead and take mine. I had my own special red pill moment this month of August. I've been doing a lot of traveling and speaking to people, as I normally do, Neil. And the interesting thing that I'm going to share with you is, you already know I haven't always been Morpheus. My transformations have come from being able, or shall I say, having the talent to break down the metaphysical, to see things for what it is, not for what the world wants me to see it as, Neil. See, there was a story that they didn't tell you about me as Morpheus. You received the movies, you received your interpretations, and there's many Morpheus in the world. I have many brothers out here in America whose name is also Morpheus. They have their perception and version of reality. But for me, I would share a little bit more about myself. That my red pills have come with great self-discovery, and my freedoms was never easy. I've been through the hardships, Neil. I've been through the struggles. I was that guy who dealt with terrible hard times where I felt as if I would never survive, that I would never survive. But here I am. Here I am, Leon C., aka Morpheus, which is amazing in itself. If there's ever a miracle, if I ever believed and I don't believe, if I ever had hope or faith and I don't have any of those, but in any evidence of a miracle, that will be myself. The very fact that I am here to deliver you now that I have been delivered. And you see the title, and I mean it every sense of the word. I'm going to give you even more power today. You say, why are you doing this, Morpheus? I've explained that in my other audios, what I want from you, Neo. And my goal. The more you empower me, the more I simply empower you. Because I want to see you in the future. I don't have faith in you. No, I don't believe in you. I don't use those words. I trust you because I know who you are. You are the gift of life. You are everything that the songs talk about. But they don't want you to know that. Your construct, your Agent Smiths, your indoctrinated program, your environment want you to remain as a limited species. But I know better. And you will too. I had a friend of mine who wanted me to talk to his sister. You have like 2 or 3 sisters, but one of them specifically is having a hard time finding a relationship. Having a hard time keeping men. And I didn't want to talk to this girl. No. No need. Unnecessary. They are to me petty things that she should already know. And the information is always available. And I try his best not to get too close to those who is obvious that they're not trying to learn. It's obvious that they just want to do the merry-go-round. They want to have attention from you, or specifically myself as a man, especially when it comes to some types of women, various types of women. Most times there's no intentions of getting the answer. They just want the attention. There's no real ambition to change out of the matrix. They want to stay in the matrix. They just want to use anything and everything around them to appease to their weakness, to appease to their lacks of doing, their laziness, their displacement of thought. So therefore, I learned how to avoid them. But unfortunately, I could share with you that this audio was a forced audio. Yes. It was a task that was given to me by nature itself and by my talent to see things for what it is. In the conversation with this lady, at first it's always going to be the first glance, as I teach you and show you that oftentimes it's not just what you see, that there is a surface level and there is an underneath face of the person, that they are hiding the person that they really are. But on the oftentimes, what you see is what you get. What a person produces, how they take care of their health, how they speak, how and what they want to show the world is what they really are. And usually they may look ratchet, out of shape, unbalanced, stressed out, bent over, distorted, stuck on drugs, you name it. That is the level of strength that their soul has. They're showing you the ability and strength that they have. And then there are some who are great with their soul and their spirit. And they're willing to display it in their body. They're willing to display it in their physical world and through their speech. Happy people want people around them to be just as happy. So they share that positive energy. People who are inspirational speakers, they stand up with all energy, with all inspirational power and energy, and you know what they do, Neo? They share it with you. They want you to know what they know. That's who they really are. That's their enlightenment. So I look at this woman, and first of all, I notice that she's not of good health. She's overweight. And then I look at her and see her countenance, and apparently she does well with dressing her face up. She does well with the mascara, with the eyeliner, with the lip gloss, lipstick, earrings. And I'm pretty sure she spent a good amount of money to keep her hair the way that it is. Flowing, straight. The usual things that men are attracted to. Of course, we are attracted to that. But I didn't stop there because it wouldn't be fair, would it? No, Morpheus doesn't go down like that. So I listened to her story, and she tells me about how her boyfriend of 3 to 4 years. First year, everything worked out quite well. Towards the end of the year to the second year, things start becoming less of great than what it used to be. Third year, he started losing interest in this lady. And of course, you know how that story goes. And I didn't want to just hear her side of the story because the man wasn't there. But there's ways to decipher, there's ways to figure it out easy. And if you are following me, I've already broke it down to you at this graduate level. Now listen up, Neo. Come to find out in deep discovery and as her brother have spoken to me, that this lady didn't do much to keep the relationship going. She would usually stay home. Gym was something she was allergic to. She would have her occasional depressions because she could not get over her past. She couldn't get over the scars that she have otherwise participated in her past life. And so she always used those excuses during the rough times of her relationship. And oftentimes her boyfriend would be energetic. He wanted to go places. He was in the gym every so often. And he enjoyed playing basketball at a LA Fitness. And so I asked the brother, after conversating with her and gathering all the information that I could. But before I do that, it wouldn't be fair for you not to tell you what I told this lady. It wouldn't be fair. Okay? So, what I told her is that I will get back to her and I will speak with her when the time is available for me. All right? Catch my drift, one step at a time. So I spoke with a brother and he tells me that his sister wasn't always out of shape like that. She wasn't always the type who didn't want to do anything. That unfortunately she decided by excuses to let herself go. She did not keep herself active as she needed to or should. She would have her occasional fast food frenzies. Cooking wasn't something that she was interested in. And while with this guy who was apparently blue pill, who was receiving the red pill from her, she didn't know she was delivering it like hot pancakes. She felt as if anything that needed to be done, he could do it himself. All she needed to do is just sit there and for him to be happy that she is at least there with him, that she is a woman in his world. She needed not to do much of anything. She was a modest good girl who wore her clothes loosely. She was always reserved. She didn't follow the Instagram crew. She wasn't interested in Facebook. She was simple for quite some time. And there was always a compromise in the relationship, whereas she tried to blend in and mold with whatever that they decided to do with each other. To the point where even the brother of her was feeling rather proud of his sister for having the ability to maintain a decent relationship. But her brother tells me that she got involved with some new women. And these girls is of the modern day thought, where they have easily manipulated this girl into girls' night out, hanging out, coffee meetups every so often at Starbucks, mall shop just to gossip and jabber. And this is what she would usually do with herself. She didn't have too much of a hobby. She wasn't writing. She wasn't trying to knit. She wasn't doing anything that involved talent at home. If the boyfriend wasn't there, she did not want to be there herself. Always on the move, she transformed to be this girl who felt as if she was on top of the world and always needed to be on the go, even more so with her friends than anything else, to where her modesty began to slip away. She began to change her attire from loose fitting, which was modest, to retain her curves and to keep it a secret and sacred and exclusive only to her boyfriend, to tight-fitting clothes, yoga pants, exposing brasiers, and the like. And the boyfriend began to make his requests and his disappointment well known. But she didn't care. She had no concern for his concerns. And so the story goes on. Her brother tells me this. I'm just sitting there smiling and thinking at the same time, as if it's no surprise. That is what the Western civilization has become. This is why I teach those who are in a marriage that that's the best that they're going to get right now. That if the marriage is in shambles, if the relationship is in shambles, at least they have one. At least they have had the ability to hook a fish and keep it for a while. Because getting back out here in the modern world with the new thinking generation who do not have a plan for longevity, but a plan for short-term success, will lend your love story in the bad ending, where you end up worse than what you are with the person that you are with. Because thereafter, all you will usually find is nothing but fish that you have no choice but to hook, kiss it, and throw it back, because it cannot stay. It doesn't want to stay. And men, do not belong to you. She does not belong to you, and she will let you know that. So, of course, I did call her back, and I told her that the issue wasn't that her boyfriend got tired of her. The issue is that she pushed him out of the door. She did not want a steady relationship. She wasn't interested in making it work. When she began to transform, that was initially a destruction of the contract when you meet or have met that person. It's a different story if you met that person and they lived that lifestyle, then you expect that. With whatever red flags, with whatever issues that they may have, and you decide to get into a full-term relationship with them, and you decide over the long haul that you are no longer interested, you don't have the obligation to yourself, and you are in the wrong for leaving, because you met the person that way. You chose them that way. You signed up for that program. So you are at fault. But it's a different ball game when you are in a relationship with this person and they change on you. They change the schedule. They change the contract agreement. They change themselves to the person that you didn't sign up for. So by all means, you have every obligation to yourself and your standards to simply walk away, because now that person is not who you like. The person who you like was the person that you first met. He didn't waste his time. The man or the boyfriend that she was with, of course he was going to leave. Of course she wasn't going to keep him. And of course she cannot find her another man who's going to stay, because she didn't transform herself to this modest, virtuous, compatible woman. She transformed herself to be an object. She transformed herself to be something that isn't based on longevity. It cannot survive. Not as she's exposing herself, dressing a certain way. Now, as the brother tells me and have told me, all into Instagram, all into Facebook, tweets every now and then. And she started to have her own following of mostly men who's always commenting on her dress wear, which was very little most of the time. So she found her new boyfriend on the computer. She found her new energy on the computer. She found her interest. She found the man, Neo, who would give her the attention and love that she always wanted. And those are those strange guys that she would never see, probably never meet, unless she pulls up a DM, which most of them do, on a simple plastic computer. How sad have the world become? So the man did a good thing and not waste his time and leave. And so I went to a meeting. All right. And in this meeting, all this was in my mind, and I put it aside because to me, it's irrelevant. To me, it's normal. To me, as red pill and an alpha. Okay. I expect this from the Western civilization. I expect this failure. I expect for it not to work out. I expect for women to come to these sort of crossroads where she will continue to donkey dunk and she'll go from one boat to the next boat. Eventually she'll realize she don't own a boat. She never settled in a boat, and no boat is there to stay. And even if she tried, they would drift away. So she has no choice but to hop from the next boat to the next boat. Or, as I like to say, to the next fool, to the next fool, to the next blue pill simp. So I didn't think about it. So I'm standing in front of this TV after leaving a meeting. And I got my hands clasped behind my back and just looking at simple commercials, just glimpsing about the commercial. Listen up, Neo. I expect that you've been following me this whole time. I don't need to explain myself in detail that the lesson have already begun. It's more than what you think I'm saying. Read between the lines. And so I'm looking at this idiot box called the television. And there were two commercials that showed up that really caught my attention, that gave me a red pill moment, which forced me to bring this information to you. One of them was the commercial about stinky clothes in the hamper, like dirty laundry. And what they were broadcasting, what they were trying to sell is a spray, of course, Febreze. Some of you know about that commercial. And it's funny how when the laundry was thrown into the laundry basket, all they did was take an air freshener and sprayed around the room to make sure that the room smelt fresh. And in my mind, breaking this down, I'm shaking my head as Morpheus. I'm thinking, well, why not just go ahead and clean the laundry? Why not clean up what is stinking? Why not just take care of the root of the problem? Why not just remove the dirty clothes from the room and put them in the washing machine? Why are you covering up stench as if it's going to go away? As if that's going to be the ultimate solution to your life? Why put a spray bottle there or some air freshener if there's a dead body in the room? Why not just bury the dead body or get rid of it? Right? Then the next commercial came up and there was a makeup commercial, which I thought about that, his sister. And in the commercial, it was talking about mascara, just covering up your face, trying to cover up the blemishes, the pimples, the bad skin, try to make yourself look presentable. I consider that to be a deception or a lie, or deceiving your man to be something that you're not, when being plain-faced or plain Jane or here I am ordeal would be better. Then I put the two commercials together, and if you've been following me, it's very simple. As we are not taught to deal with the problem, we're taught to walk away from it. Like we deal with people on an everyday basis who do just that, who make promises all the time. Like some of my clients that I used to, they weren't clients, they were getting ready to be clients. And they notice that I'm physically active. They know, Neo, that I work out. I train people every now and then, okay? And I do my own thing. And so they will constantly either call me up, or when they are out and about and we meet up, they will always say, yes, I'm going to go work out today. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do better for myself. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for my life. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do this. And it's a constant basis. It's all the time. It's almost an instant expectation that that person is going to say the same thing, and they won't do it. I'm going to get into the gym and I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to stop eating meat. I'm going to start eating healthier. I'm going to start praying more. Or I'm going to put the Bible down and start searching for truth. Over and over and over again. Even if they have the time to do it, they don't do it. They procrastinate. They procrastinate. And what I have done was, it's funny because now that I meet them, and it's been a while ago, okay, they have been cut off a long time ago. But now that I meet them every now and then, like once every blue moon, there's no communication. There's nothing to talk about. I don't waste my time with them. Because recently, and it was 2 or 3 of them, before, let's just say before now, I got to the point where I said, you know what? I'm not going to waste my time with you. I'm not going to sit here and play roller coaster and entertain you in your lackadaisical laziness. I don't need you standing here lying to me, telling me that you're going to do something and you're never going to do it. You need to do it for yourself, brother or sister. You go out there, and when you get ready to do it, you do it. Until then, don't waste my time. I'm not going to stand here and listen to your jabber. I'm not going to stand here and listen to you waste my time because you are a procrastinator, because you don't love yourself, because you are a talker, because you're the type of person who will stand there and you'll live that lifestyle. You'll put on heavy makeup. You'll dress yourself up very well with the most expensive clothes or suits. Okay? And present yourself to others and expect for them to accept you for who you are. They are not accepting you for who you are. They're accepting a repackaged, rotted tomato. That's what they're accepting. And it is becoming normal with a lot of people that I've come across. Where, Neo, you need to understand that the rabbit hole is serious. It's severe. See, the last thing I told the girl, I told her, and I'm going to be honest because I always am anyway, when I'm talking to people, I told her he didn't waste his time. He wasn't trying to waste his time. That's the last thing I told her. And while I was standing there watching the TV, before feeling as if I need to give you this, or feeling the force that you need to hear what I'm saying, Neo. Okay, I thought I was too harsh. I thought I gave her a final gut punch before leaving. You know, like kicking someone while they're already down. But the reality came to me quite soon when I began to reminisce, even on my own history,
that she's not the only one who think like that and want the environment just to accept her for who she is, but yet she still want you to be, or us, or her boyfriend, or whoever she wants to be, to just come along and accept the low quality that she have become. And we're supposed to deal with it. So we are all in this room and there's a dead raccoon right there in the middle of the floor. You know, common sense, which we don't have anymore, would say, pick the raccoon up, go bury it. All right? Or burn it, whichever the two. That will solve the problem. But we're living in a environment where we paint over things. We make sickness and stench normal. We paint over our frustration with medications, with alcohol, with sex, donkey, okay, with lies and deceit, with bitter arguments and gossip. We love gossip. We love that negative stuff. But when it comes to making positive movements, when it comes to really getting our life on the right track, we hesitate. We procrastinate. We wait until the crossroads come. I've also had clients who have come to me who was diagnosed with diabetes, or diagnosed with all other diseases, diagnosed high blood pressure, high cholesterol, overweight, bad hips, bad joints, bad knees, sore feet, everything just about. And the story that I commonly hear this, is that these people say, well, the doctor says that I need to start changing my lifestyle. If not, I am going to meet a dire end. Or they're going to have to do surgery, or there may be some amputation should the conditions worsen, or I'll end up in a wheelchair, or I won't be alive long enough to meet and see my children, to be with my children during their graduation, or to be with my children when they are grown kids. As being 64 and they're 40 or something, I won't be able to see that because I don't love myself enough. And therefore, they need motivation from people around them, or a doctor, or they need to see it for themselves, just how far they let themselves go down the hill. Because all that time, we've been in the room spraying the air with air freshener. All that time, you have people putting on face paint, mascara, lipstick, and, oh, I got so much for you. This is good. This is good. Men, this is lovely. And they've been having this for quite some time. Y'all gonna love this. Y'all have known this. I was gonna talk about this for a while. I'm not gonna keep making you wait. Listen. For the women, they have now came up with, and been having it, I'm just now talking about it, certain clothing, underneath clothing, under bra, under panties, things like that, which will hold them together, which will hold their body together, which will strap and hide away excess fat, excess deformity. Okay, and they make money from that, and women buy into it in the millions. But working out is for free. You can walk down the street or on the sidewalk. You can take a jog if you want to. It's for free. You can do some sit-ups in your room and put your legs underneath a table or a dresser and do your sit-ups. You can get a yoga tape. I suggest just aerobics. Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen anybody doing aerobics. I haven't even heard that word in a long time, which is sad. However, you can get an aerobics tape. Do some aerobics at home. Do some jumping jacks, which is for free. A tape that costs $9.99, depending on where you are, plus taxes, will save your life. So, oftentimes I'll be thinking to myself, and I will say it out loud whenever I'm around them, because
I don't hold back any punches. I'm like, well, baby, why don't you just go to the gym? Why don't you just work that off? Why don't you just deal with it? Why don't you just, just cut back on what you're eating and go for a jog for a little bit? Why don't you climb up the stairs and down the stairs 50 times a day? See what happens. But instead, just like the aero can, the aerosoft can that we just spray to cover up the stench, we rather hide it and tuck it away as if it's going to disappear. And then all of a sudden we can't find a good man. We can't find a good companion, as if men are blind, as if it's going to hide away their ability to see you when you take everything off. And the truth comes out, and he's going to be there for that minute or that hour, and he's not going to ever return because you scared him. You made him run away. Why not just deal with the condition? But let's go further, because some of you might be asking, what about you, Morpheus? Because we're not perfect people. We have failures. Sometimes we have health issues. Sometimes we just can't handle it. I know that. I'm not making excuses, nor am I making exceptions. I don't need to talk about that because this is the senior class here. In the senior class, we don't have to talk about the elementary things, such as there are people who can't help it. There are plenty of people who can't help it, but there is the majority who can, who decides not to, who allows themselves to get into an uncomfortable situation, out of shape, a dis-ease or a dysfunction in the body, where the doctor has to step in and tell you what's going to happen. So what I do, and that practice is going to be a principle, and it's what I do. Okay, and it's even more confirmed, Neo. The more that I learn, the more that I discover how women think here in the westernized civilization, where I have to apply my own version of reality. And the first rule is to be honest. That is number one. That is my number one rule, is to be honest. So therefore, my honesty cuts straight through concrete, and it doesn't miss a beat. So this is what I tell them. Okay. It's usually, this is a simple expectation of the relationship. Should it change, I don't want you no more. It's as simple as that. Or it's along the lines as of this. Either we have an exclusive relationship or I don't need to be with you. I'm going to treat you at your level. Whatever that you are, whatever that she is expecting, whatever that she rises, whatever occasion, whatever level that she brings into the relationship or that she uses as a bargaining tool for me to be her companion, should that ever be, that's how I'm going to come back at her. That's going to be her level of return. That's going to be her precipitation factor. That's what's going to be returned to her. She gives, I'm going to give it back. Not because I believe in that sort of balance. That's because it's a safe zone. I'm going to tell you why. When it comes to the argument of any social media dating, when it comes to her doing things that I don't approve of, if she is dressing in a way where it's not modest and I don't approve of it, okay, I can simply say that's not what I approve of. I don't like that. Change it or I'm out. I'm not wasting my time. We are in an exclusive relationship. Now, if I get with her and I know that it's not an exclusive relationship, I accept her for what she is or who she is and what she's doing, then I have no room to complain. I accepted it. And the idea is not to change a person. The idea is to stay on your principles. The idea is to stand your ground and to go your way, not to waste your time, not to waste more than necessary. Okay? So therefore, should she decide to change, if she becomes this girl who's going to give herself away to the world and not to me, if she has the ability, and she does, and she uses her hypergamy card, If she's interested in changing the dynamic of the relationship, I don't have to deal with it. See, the problem of you men who are married or in a relationship, which you are cohabitating with each other, you are in a compromised position. You can't say that. You can't do it because you run the risk of losing your kids, the house being split in half, or losing some money. Or you may be at a risk for her putting you out of the house for having your so-called standards. She'll show you just how weak your standards are because you stood on a ground that was at a disadvantage. If you do not cohabitate with her, if you're not married to her, if you don't let her get her fingers on you in one shape, form, or fashion, okay, then you don't have to be in a compromised position where you can bargain from a position of power. You cannot bargain from a position of powerlessness. When you are in a marriage with them, you are bound to her change in hypergamy. When you are in a relationship with them where you are cohabitating and they are living with you, then you are bound to her changes that she's going to bring. And oftentimes she will bring it eventually. She will transform to be like my friend's sister. She will let herself go. She will get comfortable, and that will be the end of your desire for her. But yet you're still stuck with her. Now you got to go through a whole process again, moving, getting another place, getting away from her, having her move out. Then you have the late night arguments when you got to go to work in the morning. Or if you're married, it's the same thing. You got to go through divorce. You got to go through all the red tape, the paper. You got to go through marriage counselors, counseling, children counselors, so forth and so on, because you were smart, because you knew that you was going to be successful in the relationship and marriage. So you decided to sign the financial contract, but you put yourself in a very compromised position of powerlessness. So therefore you can't say what I can say. I can say that today. You can't say that. I can tell her either you shape up or ship out. It's as simple as that. You can't say that. You got a ring on your finger that you done wasted money on. So if you ever do anything like that, you're going to be wasting everything else. And the ring will be the only thing that you're going to have as a reminder should she decide not to take that back or you not to flush it down the toilet or sell it because you were smart. You got to understand that your time is the most precious thing that you have on the planet. And it does not just apply to relationships. It applies to just about everywhere that you are around and what you do. You have to have time for yourself. You have to have time for your spirit. And you have to have time, Neo, to put yourself in a position of power, not powerlessness. Whereas you're not able to stand on your principles. You're not able to produce the man that you are. You're not able to get down to the root of the issue. You got to understand when you are in a position of powerlessness, you're going to be in the position where everything that's going to be given to you around you is going to be repackaged junk, garbage. It's going to be repackaged, recycled trash given to you, okay, and forced upon you for you to accept it as good. That's what it's going to be. And you won't have no choice. You don't have a choice to reject it because that's the only thing that you can have. Should you reject it, you put yourself in a compromised position. But because we are taught wrong, because we are given the wrong pills while we are watching the idiot box called the television, we think that the way we need to move forward in the country, in the westernized civilization, is by painting over our problems, by painting over our issues. If you want to know more about that when I'm describing Neo, go back to my other audio log when I was talking about the root of evil. Go back to my other audio when I talk about relationships, how you need to know who you are first before you get into a relationship. You need to be at your best first before you even engage or go down that path. Oftentimes people just want you to accept them for who they are because they don't want to change. Let me tell you something about the psychology of some women. Let me tell you something. Okay. These type of women are very smart and they are very clever. And I'm going to tell you how, and I'm going to tell you what they do. So what they do is, it's actually,
Have you ever seen a very beautiful, attractive woman with a very ugly and out of shape man? Or a man who's rugged? Or a man who's, I won't say not so successful, because success is based on your perception. But everything isn't together for him. You know, he's struggling. He's down and out. So he actually becomes, in a nutshell, he's a man that needs help. He needs to be fixed up. And you got this cute girl, this cute, attractive girl who's messing with this guy because she's trying to fix him up. She's trying to help him. She feels as if she needs to be there to support him, as if she needs to be his guardian angel. I know you know about this, and I know, Neo, you have seen this in your world. Okay? Now, here's a twist on it. These girls are smart. The reason why she's doing that on a high percentage, Neo, is because she doesn't need to better herself. So it's easier for her to try to better someone else, so she can feel better about her disposition. She can feel better that there's a stinky skunk in the room and no one is able to smell it, and they are comfortable with just the aerosol can. They're comfortable with that. So therefore, she will keep messing with this man. She'll keep supporting this man. She will be there even if he's verbally or even physically abusive. Even if this man is running her ragged and useless to every other man who may come into her future, she doesn't care, because this man is balancing her out in her psychology, in her mind. Okay, she doesn't have to do better because this man is lesser than her. In his stance, in his status, not as a species, just in his status, he's lesser than her. So she may have her things together. She may have a good job, and she might have potential, or she may even have her own family. This man may not have a family. His family might be separated. So what she'll do is, she feels like she needs to fix him. She needs to help him. Okay? It's only a reflection of herself. She don't need to bring herself higher. She doesn't need to clean up the skunk in the room. Okay? She doesn't need to change her life. She doesn't need to change and have a reflection of her own problems and issues and illness that she has, because she can avoid her problems and her issues by focusing on his. You see how that works? Amazing, right? But let me tell you something that's even more amazing. Check this out. Now, according to the high status man, Neo, she has to work to be at his level. If he has any principles or standards to himself, now she's looking up at his status. Now she has to switch her game. Now she has to put herself in a different gear. Now she has to work harder to get this man's attention. So then that's when you end up finding these women trying to wear the best of the best, trying to put the best makeup on, spending hours after hours in the bathroom, trying to make themselves look like Barbie doll that they may never be. Okay. And putting on the laces and the wires and the straps to keep themselves together because they want to be presentable for this man. But as you probably know, Neo, and you've heard this before, she can only put a clown face on for so long. She can only pretend to be this high status man's dream or choice companion for so long before she reveals herself and her flaws. Because eventually that aerosol can, the fragrance is going to fade away. Eventually the paint, which was painted over our struggles and our mental issues and our faults, will fade. It will chip over time faster than what you expect. So therefore, the objective is to create a new standard that fits right in the middle, that she controls and you lose, Neo. That she controls and you lose. And therefore you find yourself wasting time. You find yourself playing a hula hoop game where you're not going to win. Because she's still going to be hoping and waiting for the high status male. And of course, you will still be dealing with those who have come from dealing with a low status male
who can't pair bond with you because they've been donkey dunking with those worthless guys for a long time. So now you're getting something that's left over. Now you're getting somebody who just jumped off of the horse, okay, and they're still feeling the saddle between their legs. So therefore, you're not doing nothing but becoming the blue pill beta simp. You're the simp. Because you don't know no better. You don't have the proper information. Is because daddy and mommy is telling you that it's better to marry than to burn. Because society is telling you that it's wrong to be single, where you will be at a position of power and choice. So you rather be in a position of no power and no choice. So therefore, what principles or standards that might be there are going to be lower. It's not going to be of the high quality as it need to be. So therefore, we get comfortable with just being a aerosol spraying lifestyle, where we don't deal with the problems. We talk around the problems. We don't solve it and forgive and forget as we should. We want to talk about it. We want to scrape it and make it worse. We don't want to heal our scars so we can advance as a species. We want to degrade and recede our thinking and our intelligence by our habits and, again, our lifestyle, by our perception, by what people said, by the false information that's beamed into us. It is amazing, Neo, how many people that I talk to, and especially women, women on a various level, on a generous level, okay, where the argument that is always given is that the fact is there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information, so they don't accept, not all of them. I'm saying generally the women who live a haphazard lifestyle, they will immediately get rid of everything. They'll get rid of the baby with the bathwater. They won't accept no type of information, whether it's right or wrong. When intelligence filters out the massive amount of information, which can transform into knowledge, should a person have the logic to decipher as they should, it's no excuse not to do better or not to listen to red pill content or not to listen to what people are saying just because everybody's saying it in a different way or just because everybody's saying it in general, when your instincts and your mind should, and it does already have the ability, should you practice that and apply that to filter out which one is right and which one is wrong. Or you can say which one is applicable, which one is not applicable. Which one makes sense through logic and which one is illogical through practicality. But when you're just lazy or you don't have the potential to do better, it's an excuse to grab onto every other thing that's not going to, or shall I say, to use every other tool and aspects around you, assets around you as an excuse not to do better, to point your finger at something instead of yourself. It's amazing how many strap items that we have don't solve the problems. It's amazing that all we know how to do is put a computer chip on something to solve its malfunction. It's amazing that all we know how to do is put a mint in our mouth or put some, breath freshener in to just spray it in there. And what you should do is go to the bathroom and pick up a brush and some toothpaste and brush those rusty teeth. And not forget the back. So the conclusion of this is this. I gave you a lot to think about, and I put a lot out there for you. Okay, for a reason. And now we are at this pinnacle, Neo. We are at this pinnacle. In my audios, all the way up until now, I've been giving you knowledge. If you put it all together, practically, you don't need to waste your time because you have the knowledge that you need. Or I can put it this way. I've given you lots of good information that will help your knowledge, and you're able to filter that into wisdom. And it will give you the power that you need where you don't have to waste your time. There's no need to waste your time anymore. And this is why I say it does not just apply to relationships. It applies to your life. It applies to your goals. It applies to what you are seeking out of the earth and the world, or out of your perception of God. Even your church or whatever that you believe in. It's like you got to get down to the basics and say either it is or it isn't. And that's how I am with my relationships with my female friend. You can filter them out easy. I filter them out really quickly by stating either it is or it isn't, because I'm not going to waste my time. Don't come here having barbed wires wrapped around you where if I take one snip off of it, the whole thing is just going to blow up. Now you just, you look like, what's that? The marshmallow man in my house. It's a big enough house, but I don't need a marshmallow man in the house. I'm the only big guy in my house. I'm the only alpha in my house. Okay, nobody else. No, it's only her task to sit there as a pretty, young, fertile, vibrant, virtuous, smart, well-doing, well-being, and supportive woman. Simple as that. So therefore, either it is or it isn't. So you don't waste your time. And then therefore, when you tolerate all the red flags, even in your life, when you're dealing with people, business exchange, when you're talking to people, when they're beating around the bush, when it's never exact,